Oh, thank God I finally did it. I only have to do it 2 more times now, at least. Speaking of which, let's talk about Fortnite. Now, this game is kind of a grind fest. Looking at these menus, you can already see all the grinding you're going to have to do. Like, look at all the things you have to fill up and get more stuff for. You got to get survivors, heroes, guns, traps, and then you got to level all of these up individually using schematic points, hero points, survivor points, using another element to upgrade all those. And then the only way you can get more schematics and stuff like that is using these daily quests that I'm showing off right now and getting off the V coins. And you can buy more, right, as you can see on some of the screen I'm kind of flickering through right here, to buy the pinatas that I'm trying to show off using the different currency. You can buy them and you unlock them using the pinatas just like I'm showing right now, just smacking it through. Now they can go up in different levels to like rarity. This is basic, and this is what you're probably going to get more often than not. It's just a couple of blues and nothing much, and you're not going to get too much out of it, and it's just mostly going to be recycled into the rest of your gear. Now on top of all that, you also have skill trees. You have 2 separate skill trees. One is a currency that you unlock you get daily. Every couple of hours it fills up, and you have to keep coming back and refilling it, and you can see it in the bottom right corner. And the other is a skill tree from leveling up yourself and getting tokens to unlock these ones. And as you keep progressing through the different skill trees of both of those skill trees, they unlock more tokens per each day and more currency too. Now I'm going to show off some of the... Now all the evolution and stuff in this game all works in the same concept. You can evolve stuff using a purple item to use that, and then you have to upgrade everything. Now using the same concept works for everything, but everything has different points to use. This one uses schematics, and when I sell one of my others and recycle them, I can upgrade this one insanely huge, which is great for if you have a bad weapon and you unlock a new one later and you just want to get it super buffed up like I just did. It's perfect for that. But most of this game is around building. And this is where the game kind of shines and kind of gets boring at the same time. You got a lot of options to build with. Like right here, this is a building mission. You're supposed to build these different forts, and you get a lot of options. Holding the B button on console, you can switch from all these different things. Like you can move that out of the corner, turn this here, and now you got a little bridge. Now it's all cool when you're building stuff to make it fancy and all that. But as you'll see later, it doesn't really matter, and it's actually kind of a hindrance other than fences and just walls and ceilings. But right now, it's pretty cool. I can sit here and I can cut off this edge, make sure it's perfectly lined up. I can do all this stuff. I can make all certain angles coming out, make it all look fancy, cool. I can upgrade to everything. It's nice making everything look cool, but it's not practical except for when you're doing these missions, and that's about it. And that's great and everything, but it's not useful. It's just terrible to an extent because all you're doing is this. You're constantly walking back and forth, holding the B button, resetting everything, just so you can set that one there. Because they made it so you can't use the right one there. You have to turn it around completely. And then I activate that, and it's a simple quest around the map because this is a mostly open world map. I just go unlock that and just go get my gear. Simple, easy, and fun. But here's what you're mostly going to be doing. Building straight up walls and trying to make the zombie creatures go where you want them to, which they never seem to. You'll see in a little bit. There's a reason why this is called Fortnite and not an actual tower defense game. In most tower defense games, you can make the monsters go along a certain path. But in this, they kind of just keep going forward. They will find a weakness and they will go after the weakness, but they never seem to want to. And as I was saying about the grinding in this game, as I was saying earlier, everything you build is a resource. All the walls are a resource, and you only get select amount you can. You got a backpack that can hold all the other resources for building stuff like the traps and the walls that I'm putting up. I have to constantly go over and beat up like everything around the place just so I can do something. Killing stupid zombies just so I can go and beat up a truck. And this is about it. They just kind of run at the traps. Now you saw earlier that we left a giant gap in there, and they still are, instead of going towards the gap, some of them are getting stuck up on the wall and aren't even walking through. Like, some of them walk through, but others are just standing there. And for the most part, you don't even want to be in your base fighting the enemy because they'll start attacking your base. You don't want that. You're basically forcing yourself to stand out there and be a human tank for your walls. That should be protecting you and them and your objective, but you end up using yourself as a wall to stop them. You're trying to deter them with your blood and like guns, and that's it. And every turn you have to just like make doors and stuff like that, and you can't put a trap on a door for the most part. You can't put wall traps on a door. So now if I have to make a door, it weakens everything. So usually you just want to build a fence. Now some of the enemies can just lob stuff over the fences, so you can't just build fences, but you need something to block them off more. So most of the strategies that a lot of people implement are just walls on the inside to cover everything with ceilings coming outside so you can put more aggressive ceilings traps out, and then stuff like and doing that. And right like I'm doing out here, I'm fighting the boss creatures away from my base just so it's safer. I mean, there's a chance I might die out here, but it's better than leaving my traps and walls to get completely obliterated, considering the traps usually have set uses. And most of your game is basically going to be doing this, just walking up and just resupplying every time after every single battle or anything you're doing. And you're going to be constantly going and finding more loot and more stuff, which can be fine, but since it's very limited on how many lumber you can have to 999 of each steel, brick, and lumber, all that ends up happening is you constantly are running around trying to redo everything. Like I'm doing right here. Running out of steel, so I have to constantly find something to steal. I need brick. Because we gotta go defend another base in 12 minutes now. And all I'm doing is getting enough resources so I can build more traps. Because sometimes it's a randomly generated trap stuff, so you can get your traps to come out. You gotta build, like, you need nuts and bolts for ammo. You need to build your guns, because you gotta build your guns. You need stuff like blast and blast powder and all this other stuff. So you gotta go over here and farm in the mines and stuff. You gotta break this down. You gotta constantly keep farming for other gear. And then there's missions you have to do for gizmos so you can build the legendary weapons that you have. And since a lot of the other weapons are nowhere near as strong as anything else but the legendaries, you're basically only using gizmos and blast powders and stuff like that to build everything. All your weapons. And once they break, they break. And you just build from your blueprint some more. Which means certain situations you just don't have more guns, and you have to use guns you found late as you're going. Now right here, you can see that we're implementing the strategy I was talking about earlier, constantly putting up traps and walls and fighting out just outside of it. But that's the entirety of this game, is waiting for the monsters to just run at your walls and hoping they die upon it. And if they break through, they run through your gauntlet of traps. You don't have the option of building a lane so they're running straight through it and through all your traps like you would in most tower defense games. It doesn't work like a tower defense game because most of the enemies are either too dumb or the game doesn't like have them understand it. They don't have to just keep attacking the wall. There's an opening on the other side you just saw, and they're running headlong into this, throwing everything they can at the wall that's honestly our most fortified wall. This game can be fun, it's just this is the situations you're constantly put in, with enemies running full force into your wall and just trying to decimate it no matter what, and being annoying. And there's a lot of times, until you upgrade your schematics for your guns, they're just bullet sponges. So you gotta grind more and more to constantly get everything up to par. If I was to give this game a rating, I would give it a 2 out of 5. Maybe a 2.5 out of 5. It's not awful. If you added stuff to this game that wasn't just grinding more and just increase the limits of everything and increase the capacity to the minimum capacity for a lot of this stuff, and a lot of the resources weren't as heavily as you need to invest so heavily into, this game would be great. But like, you constantly have this game hovering over you, not letting you do what you want to do. This is the Broken Controller Show. I'm George, and if you like this review, like, comment, and subscribe.